This is the Marxists at the Movies podcast.
Scene opens, white lights dim down low. The cinema whispers where truths can grow. From shadows deep and screens ignite, the proletariat comes alive tonight. Tonight, Marxists at the movies, bright and raw, breaking through the reels to rewrite the law. Workers of the world in every frame, changing the credits, rewriting the name.
Welcome back, everyone, to Marxists at the Movies.
The place where dialectics meet the director's cut.
That's us. And tonight, comrade, we're stepping away from the big screen for a bit.
Yeah, hitting the small screen instead for a special TV spotlight.
We're diving into something quite specific. The Earth Day special from 1990.
Oh, 1990. A vintage piece of television. And it was billed as this glitter-drenched cry for help for the planet.
Glitter drenched, I like that. But the crucial detail here, the thing that gets our Marxist senses tingling, is who paid for all that glitter.
Right. It wasn't just, cobbled together by concerned citizens. This was brought to you by Time Warner.
Ding, ding, ding. Time Warner, a newly merged media giant back then. And when you start looking at Time Warner circa 1990, and then you look at this earnest-seeming environmental special.
The contradictions start piling up. It gets, infuriating is a good word.
So before we even get to the special itself, all the stars and the questionable skits.
We really need to unpack the sponsor. Time Warner. What was their environmental deal back then? Because this leads us straight into the concept of greenwashing.
Okay, let's define that quickly. Greenwashing is basically corporations pretending to be greener than they are, right?
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
Polishing their image, making themselves look environmentally conscious, often while their actual practices are, less than ideal, maybe even harmful.
And Time Warner sponsoring this huge eco special while running businesses that were pretty heavy on resource use. It smells a bit like that, doesn't it?
It certainly invites scrutiny through that lens. Does the special become less a call to action and more a performance? Yeah, cynical spectacle even.
That's what we're digging into. We'll look at Time Warner's environmental footprint around 1990 and then see how the Earth Day special looks in that light. Is it genuine concern or primetime corporate spin?
It's fascinating because it taps into these ongoing questions about corporate responsibility, media influence, and how you tell real commitment apart from just, good PR.
All right, let's get down to it. Time Warner, 1990. What were we actually looking at?
So it was the fairly recent merger of Warner Bros. Pictures and Time Inc. Two giants.
Warner Bros. The movie studio. Making movies isn't exactly low impact, is it, even back then?
Not at all. Think about studio production in 1990. It's pre-digital dominance, mostly. You've got massive energy needs for lots, lighting, equipment.
Huge sound stages, right.
Exactly. Then there's water use and just the sheer amount of physical stuff. Sets built, costumes made, props.
And where did all that stuff go afterwards? Landfills mostly, I imagine?
Largely, yes. Recycling and waste reduction in the film industry wasn't the focus it, claims to be today. Serious tracking of emissions and waste is actually quite recent, even according to Warner Bros. Discovery's own reports now.
So their operations back then definitely had a significant environmental impact. Unchecked, really.
Pretty much. Lots of energy, water, and waste. Standard practice? Maybe, but definitely impactful.
Okay, that's the Warner Bros. Side. What about Time Inc., the magazine people?
Ah, yes. Time people. Fortune. Huge glossy magazines. Cultural staples.
Printed on paper. Lots and lots of paper.
An absolutely colossal amount of paper. Think about the forestry impact. The processing, the transportation, the printing.
Mm-hmm.
Millions of copies.
But recycling in 1990 wasn't what it is now, was it?
Not even close.
Mm-hmm.
A huge chunk of that glossy paper probably wasn't recycled. So deforestation, landfill burden, it's a direct line.
So you've got this massive paper consumer whose magazines might even be reporting on environmental issues, telling people they should recycle.
Exactly. That's the deep irony. Time Inc. is shaping the narrative, talking about climate change, personal responsibility, while their core business relies on consuming vast amounts of paper.
It's a stunning contradiction. Profit-driven pollution hiding in plain sight, as one source put it.
A perfect phrase for it. So
Yeah.
you combine Warner's production impact with Time's paper consumption.
And the merger just creates a bigger entity with a bigger footprint.
Precisely. This is the company footing the bill for the Earth Day special. This company with significant environmental baggage is now presenting itself as a champion for the planet.
It really does sound like greenwashing territory, like those old Chevron ads, the People Do campaign.
It's a fantastic comparison. Our sources mentioned that too. These ads showed Chevron folks, saving turtles or whatever.
Right, feel-good stuff.
While the company itself was dealing with major pollution issues, oil spills. The ads won awards for green marketing.
Unbelievable.
But the source called it a sinister purpose, basically, distracting from the real damage, spending way more on the PR than on actual environmental fixes.
And other sources mention how companies use these voluntary programs, these eco-labels, just for show, like joining a club to look good.
It's all about signaling, projecting an image without necessarily making deep, costly changes. And the Earth Day special, with its unbelievable celebrity firepower,
Could be seen as the ultimate signaling exercise for Time Warner.
a massive primetime signal. Which brings us finally to the special itself. A cynical spectacle. What was this thing actually like?
It sounds like just sensory overload, stars everywhere.
Well, it was completely over the top. A bloated variety show, but make it environmental. Non-stop celebrity appearances.
Uh-oh.
More stars than the Oscars, probably.
And they were clearly trying to hit every single person watching TV, right?
Right.
Like a scattergun approach to demographics.
Absolutely meticulous demographic targeting. You had Candace Bergen and the Murphy Brown cast doing eco news. Very topical. Very popular show then.
Okay, appeal to the smart urban viewer.
Then the Golden Girls talking recycling over cheesecake.
Got the older demographic sitcom fans.
The Cosby Show cast delivering gentle eco lessons.
The wholesome family audience. Check.
But it went way beyond sitcoms. You had brief spots from like Doogie Howser,
Neil Patrick Harris, young viewers.
Liam Bialik, people from Cheers.
Wow.
Danny DeVito and Rhea Perlman played a cynical couple watching the special itself who eventually get converted.
Covering the skeptics, I guess.
It's sort of meta. And then the huge names, Robin Williams, Martin Short, Chevy Chase, Bette Midler.
Comedy, movies, music.
Even cartoons. Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck showed up.
To appeal to kids, obviously.
And kind of randomly, Ice-T performed.
Ice-T, okay. Adding some edge. And Doc Brown from Back to the Future.
Yep, Christopher Lloyd as Doc Brown, arriving in environmentally friendly smoke, apparently.
You can't make this up. Environmentally friendly smoke.
The IMDb cast list is insane. It just says top cast 86.
Yeah.
86 top billed stars.
86. Name a few more. This is wild.
Okay, Dan Aykroyd, James Brolin, Kevin Costner, Rodney Dangerfield, Gina Davis, Michael Douglas, Jane Fonda, Morgan Freeman.
Legends. Keep going.
Will Smith as the Fresh Prince, Heavy D, Dustin Hoffman, Meryl Streep, Jack Lemmon, Barbara Streisand, Michael Keaton.
Streisand sang.
Yep, soundtrack includes Somewhere by Streisand.
Yeah.
Also Quincy Jones, Woody Harrelson, Jim Henson, Edward James Olmos, Queen Latifah. I mean, it's endless. 8 Oscar winners, apparently, and tons more nominees.
Just wow, an army of celebrities. What was the actual, story holding this together, or was there one?
Sort of. The main framing device was, okay, get this, Mother Earth, played by Bette Midler, is sick. Like literally sick in a hospital bed.
Mother Earth is hospitalized, played by Bette Midler.
Yep. And the celebrities come to visit her. They apologize for what humans have done, or they offer hope. Sometimes actors dressed as doctors give her a diagnosis.
That is profoundly weird.
It was definitely memorable, but the tone was all over the place because of it. You get sitcom jokes and suddenly apocalyptic warnings.
Like mood swings.
Exactly. 1 minute it's light, the next a kid is crying about her dog dying from pollution. Very jarring.
Sounds like a tonal mess. Did they try to get any actual science in there?
There were moments. Carl Sagan appeared, which was notable.
Ah, Comrade Sagan. Good.
He gave a pretty straightforward explanation of the greenhouse effect CO2 from fossil fuels trapping heat and ozone depletion from CFCs in fridges and air conditioners.
Okay, actual information.
Yeah. And he did this analogy about planning for the worst case, like military defense or insurance. You prepare even if you hope it doesn't happen.
That sounds pretty reasonable, actually. A rare moment of clarity, perhaps?
Perhaps, but it felt a bit disconnected from, the Muppets also being there and E.T. and Porky Pig in the opening credits.
Wait, E.T. and the Muppets were involved, too?
Yep. It was truly in everything, including the kitchen sink production, filmed in Southern California, directed by veterans like Dwight Hemian and James Burrows. It even won an Emmy, believe it or not.
An Emmy? For what?
Outstanding variety, music or comedy special, despite the IMDb rating being a rather mediocre 5.8 out of 10.
So a critically mixed bag, but technically proficient enough to win an award. But always, we come back to the sponsor.
Always back to Time Warner, the elephant in the green room, sponsoring this spectacle while running paper mills and energy-guzzling studios.
And it's not like they suddenly cleaned up their act afterwards. As you said, Warner Bros., Discovery today still has huge emissions despite all the ESG talk.
Right. The legacy continues, which strongly suggests the 1990 special was less about deep commitment and more about image management. PR.
Like we discussed with Chevron. Using environmental themes to build goodwill and maybe distract from the core business, it's a classic capitalist maneuver, isn't it? Expanding profits by appearing responsible.
And shifting blame, making it about individual action, recycle your cans, turn off lights, rather than systemic corporate change, like BP pushing the carbon footprint idea onto individuals.
Right. Deflecting from the massive industrial emissions, the Earth Day special, with all its what you can do messages, fits that mold a bit, doesn't it?
It certainly leans that way. It focuses heavily on personal choices, less on corporate accountability or policy change. And that satirical clip we found, the "ruin this one, we'll find another one" line.
Chilling. It captures that potential corporate cynicism perfectly. A disposable planet attitude, perhaps, lurking beneath the surface-level concern.
It highlights the basic conflict: short-term profit versus long-term sustainability. The special, for all its star power, couldn't really resolve that. Mother Earth herself even says something like, "I'll survive, I'm just a rock. It's you I'm worried about."
Almost letting humanity, and by extension the sponsors, off the hook.
You could read it that way. The focus shifts to human survival, maybe away from the planet's intrinsic health or corporate responsibility for damaging it.
Okay, so wrapping this up, we've looked at Time Warner's context, the greenwashing angle, the absolute circus of the special itself.
Yeah.
What's the big takeaway, comrade?
I think it's a really stark lesson in corporate environmentalism, especially the early splashy kind. Celebrity endorsements and big budgets don't equal real change. Often it's about branding, polishing the image.
Yeah. The contradiction of a media giant built on resource-heavy industries preaching environmentalism is just inescapable. It shows how easily the language of change can be used to keep things the same.
We have to look past the shiny surface, always. Scrutinize the actual practices, the actual impact, not just the messaging.
All right, then. Time for the verdict. The Marxists at the movies hammer and sickle rating for the Earth Day special, 1990. What are we thinking?
It's tough. There was Sagan.
True. And the sheer audacity of the celebrity mobilization is almost impressive in a weird Soviet parade kind of way.
Okay, how about 2 out of 5 hammer and sickles?
I can agree with that. 1 for Comrade Sagan's valiant attempt at science education amidst the chaos.
That one for the jaw-dropping, almost terrifying spectacle of star power deployment.
The other 3 sickles are withheld due to extreme greenwashing.
Agreed. Pure primetime greenwash.
And the final thought for our listeners. As we look at today's corporate sustainability reports, the ESG initiatives, the net zero pledges,
we need to remember this 1990 artifact. Ask ourselves, how much is real progress? And how much is just a more sophisticated version of the same performance? How much has really changed beneath the surface?
a crucial question indeed. Keep asking it.
Absolutely. Discernment is key.
This has been Marxists at the movies. Until next time, keep you popcorn and your analysis classy.
Scene opens, white lights dim down low.
Thank you for listening to the Marxists at the Movies
Cinema
podcast.
whispers where
Don't forget
truths
to
can
like and
grow.
comment.